welcome to Tennessee's at-home learning series for math. Today's lesson is for all 6th graders out there. Though all children are welcome to tune in, this lesson is the first in our series. My name is Reggie Caruth, and I'm an assistant principal at this Tennessee school. I'm so excited to be your teacher for this lesson. Welcome to my virtual classroom. So today we will be learning about evaluating expressions with exponents using the order of operation in mathematics. Before we get started, to participate fully in this lesson, today you will need paper and a pencil, and a surface to write on, a calculator if you have one available. Let's begin. So students, I want you to evaluate this expression, 3 plus 4 times 2. 3 plus 4 times 2. I'm gonna give you a second to evaluate this. All right, so how did you evaluate this expression? You probably either got 14 or 11, depending on how you solved it, but only one of these answers can be correct. So when we evaluate expressions, it's important that we all must agree on use the same exact rules when solving an expression, so we all can get this to the same answer. Because if not, we'll have totally different answers around the board. So let's think about the order our mathematicians have placed in order of operations in the order you learned how to solve them in school. What operation did you learn how to solve first? Addition and subtraction, that's correct. Those are the least complicated operations. So they are to be solved last when you're talking about order of operations. After you learn how to add and subtract, you learn how to multiply and divide, since they are repeated addition and repeated subtraction. Multiplication and division are more powerful than addition and subtraction, which led mathematicians to develop the order of operations in this way. When we evaluate an expression, you have to do, with these 4 operations, we always calculate multiplication and division first, then addition and subtraction. Since multiplication and division are equally powerful, we simply evaluate these operations when they're written from left to right. Addition and subtraction are the same level in order of operation of power, and we evaluate these from left to right as well. So now that we know the rules of order of operations and they're clear, can you go back to evaluate this expression? 3 plus 4 times 2. And I'm going to draw a model on the board to help. This diagram models this expression. We need to multiply 4 times 2 first, which is shown in this model. This is my groups together. Then after that, we can add the 3 to this. So now, our answer should be 11. I can check that by adding it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're gonna try a problem with exponents in it. So I want you to write this problem on your paper. 90 minus 5 squared times 3. And I'm going to write it up here. (90) minus 5 squared times 3. Thinking about the order of operations, what we do first, I want you to try to solve this problem. What should we do first? If you said exponents first, you are correct. So the first thing we need to do is we need to square our 5. So 5 squared is 5 times 5. So once I do 5 times 5, that's going to give me 25. And I'm going to make sure that I bring everything down. So I can bring down my 90, my subtraction sign, my times, my 3. So now my problem reads 90 minus 25 times 3. So going back to what we talked about at the beginning, what am I going to do first? Am I going to do my subtraction or my multiplication? If you said multiplication, you are correct. So I'm going to do 25 times 3. 25 times 3 is going to give me 75. Bring down my minus and my 90. Now my problem reads 90 minus 75. Am I ready to solve? I am. So 90 minus 75. I want you to do this and tell me what you get for an answer. If you got 15, you are correct. So now we've done with exponents. Now I want to try it a little bit, step it up just a little bit, and we're going to try one with parentheses. I'm going to write this problem down. The problem we're going to do next is going to be 2 times the parentheses 3 plus 4 squared. I want you to try this problem. Write this problem down on your paper, and I have it up here on the board. I want you to try it. So when you start evaluating this problem, what do you evaluate first within my parentheses? First, we should evaluate 4 squared. So I know 4 squared is 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is going to give me 16. Now that I have that, I can bring everything else down. So I'm going to bring down my plus, bring down my 3. I'm going to even bring down my parentheses because I'm not done with them yet. So now my problem reads 2 times 3 plus 16. So now what do I do next? Do I do multiplication or do I still solve what's inside of my parentheses? You're correct. We should solve what's inside of our parentheses first. So now I have to think, what is 16 plus 3, or 3 plus 16, which is going to give me 19. Now I can bring down my times 2. Now my problem reads 2 times 19. Am I ready to solve now? I want you to go ahead and solve the rest of this expression for me. So 2 times 19 is going to give me 38. So hopefully you got an answer of 38. You got that? You really good? All right, so we're going to try to step it up even more. I'm going to do one with a fraction. I believe it, we got it. So let me erase this. On your paper, I want you to write down the following problem. I have 1/2 squared times 4 plus 3. 1/2 squared times 4 plus 3. So, the first thing we need to think about is what we'll do first in this problem. I don't have parentheses, but I do have my exponent. So I'm going to solve that first. So 1/2 squared is going to give me 1/2 times 1/2. 1/2 times 1/2 is going to give me what? It's going to give me 1/4. So now I can bring everything else down. 1/4 times 4 plus 3. So this is going back to what we did earlier today. What is the next operation I'm going to do? Am I going to do multiplication or am I going to do division? Multiplication. So remember, when we multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators together and multiply the denominators together. So I have 1/4 times 4. I'm going to write this as a fraction, just knowing that 1 times 4 is going to give me 4. 4 times 1 is going to give me 4. So I have 4 over 4, which can simplify down to what? 1 times 4 actually equals 1. So now I know that this is 1. Now I can bring down my 1 plus 3. Now I'm ready to solve. My problem now reads 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is what? 4. So my answer is 4. Again, just to recap, make sure you multiply across. That's going to give me my 4 over 4, which simplified down to 1 or equals 1. And then now I'm left with 1 plus 3, which is going to give me 4. So let's evaluate some more expressions. I want you to write this problem on your paper, and I'm going to write it on the board. Let's see what we can do here. The problem we're going to do is 4 plus 9 squared. So 4 plus 9 squared divided by 3 times 2 minus 2. Let's see how we do on this one. So I want you to use your operations that you know and think about what you evaluate first. So looking at my problem, what's the first thing we're going to do? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. So the first thing I'm going to do is 9 squared. Let me change the color up on this one. So I know I'm going to do 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is what? 81. So now that I know that that's 81, I'm going to bring everything else down. So 4 plus 81 now, divided by 3 times 2 minus 2. So now, my problem reads 4 plus 81 divided by 3 times 2 minus 2. So what do we do next? If you said multiplication and division, you're correct. But we have to make sure we go from left to right. So the first one I'm going to do is my 81 divided by 3. So 81 divided by 3 is going to give me 27. Bring everything down because I want to make sure that I'm solving my problem correctly. Now that I've done my division, now I'm ready to do my multiplication. So now I'm ready to do 27 times 2. 27 times 2 is 54. So now my problem is going to read 4 plus 54 minus 2. So what operations are we going to evaluate last? I'm going to give you a second to think about this one. This is taking us back to our previous knowledge from the beginning of this lesson. So we're going to do addition and subtraction, but the hint, we have to make sure we do it from left to right. So now I'm ready to do 4 plus 54, which is going to give me what? 58. So I can subtract now 2, and that's going to give me an answer of 56. So 56 should be my answer. I want you to give you a second to write this down. You want to do another one together? All right, so let's do another problem together. Same thing, but we're going to do another one with fractions. I know we got it. Just stick with me. So knowing we're going to do another problem with fractions, I'm going to write the problem on the board. I want you to write this on your paper. I'm going to do 3 times 1/2 cubed plus 3. Oh, I'm stepping it up a little bit, huh? So what operations will I solve first? I'm going to give you a second to think about this. All right, so if you said exponents, you are correct. So I'm gonna start off with doing my exponents. Let me switch colors. So I know I'm doing 1/2 cubed, which is just 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. So remember, when we're multiplying our numerators across the top and our denominators across the bottom. So I know 1 times 1 times 1 is going to give me 1 as a numerator. I also know 2 times 2 is going to give me 4 times 2 is going to give me 8. So 8 should be my denominator. So 1/2 cubed is 1/8. So I'm going to rewrite my problem to reflect that. So I have 3 times 1/8 plus 3. I'm going to give you a second to fix that. Now, I want you to think about what operation we're going to do next. Are we going to multiply or are we going to add? If you said multiplication, you are correct. So I'm going to multiply, remembering I'm going from left to right, 3 times 1/8. So I'm going to do 3 times 1/8. So to me, I like multiplying fractions with fractions. So when I do this, it's going to be 3 over 1 times 1/8. So 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 8 is 8. So 3 times 1/8 is 3/8. Once I finish that, I'm going to bring everything else down. So I have 3/8 plus 3. So now my last thing is to add these together. And when I add 3/8 plus 1/8, I'm just going to get 3 and 3/8 as my answer. I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and write that down. All right, so let's do another one together. I'm going to erase this, and you're going to write this on your paper. You guys are doing a good job. So I'm going to do the problem 2 times, parentheses, 3 plus 4, close parentheses, and I'm going to square that. Oh, I want you to think about this. What do you think will happen when the exponent is outside the parentheses? What should we evaluate first? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. What should we evaluate first with the exponent being outside of my parentheses? So knowing that I solve what's inside of my parentheses first, I'm still going to solve 3 plus 4 first. Well, what's 3 plus 4? It's 7. So I'm going to rewrite this. I know that this is 7. I'm going to rewrite this, bring down my 2 and my times. And I'm also going to bring down my exponent because I haven't done anything with it yet. So make sure that it's squaring my 7. So now my problem reads 2 times 7 squared. Now what I'll do. So I'm going to square 7 times 7, which is going to give me 7 times 7, which is going to give me 49. Bring down my times 2. So now my problem is 2 times 49, which is going to equal, go ahead and finish solving that for me. 2 times 49 is going to give me 98 as an answer. You good? You got it? Let's try one more to make sure we have it in. So I'm going to write another problem on the board. I want you to write this on your paper. We're going to do 7 plus 12 minus 8 cubed. 7 plus parentheses 12 minus 8 close parentheses cubed. I'm going to give you a second to write this down, and I want you to solve it, and we're going to solve it together. When solving, think about our other problems. Go back and look at our previous examples. Think about all the stuff that we've talked about today, so you can make sure that you're ready to solve this, and I know you are. You still got a couple more minutes to solve this problem. If you need to, go back over your notes and look at everything that we've done in our previous problems together. You almost there? Hopefully you have an answer, because we're going to go over them. So, looking at this problem again, 7 plus, open parentheses, 12 minus 8, close parentheses, cubed. What am I going to do first? So first thing we should do, or first thing you should have done when you solved it, is solve inside of your parentheses first. So I know I'm going to solve 12 minus 8. What is 12 minus 8? Hopefully you said 4. So I'm going to put my 4 here. What am I going to do with this 7, my plus, and my cube? I'm going to bring it down to make sure it's in my problem. So I know next I have to cube my 4, drop down my plus sign, and my 7. So I have 7 plus 4 cubed as my new problem. Now I can continue working my order of operations. What do I want to do next? Do I want to add, or do I want to take care of this exponent? Let's take care of this exponent. So I know that 4 cubed is 4. You know what? I'm going to write this in a different color. I know that 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is going to give me what? 16 times 4 is going to give me 64. So I should know that 4 cubed is now 64. Bring down my plus and my 7. So now my problem reads 7 plus 64. What did you get as an answer? Hopefully you got 71. Whew, we've done a lot today. So, great job. Today we learned that when we evaluate expressions, we use one set of rules so everyone arrives at the same correct answer. So going back to what we talked about, make sure that you do multiplication from left to right and addition from left to right. So grouping symbols like parentheses tell us to evaluate whatever is inside them before moving on. So it lets me know, like with this problem, that I need to evaluate this before I can move on to anything else. So these rules are based on doing the most powerful operation first. Exponents, parentheses, or your two tops, starting with your parentheses, then moving on to your exponent. Or if it's your exponents inside of your parentheses, you do that one first. So then you move on to your least powerful ones like multiplication and division, making sure you're going from left to right. And finally, your least powerful, addition and subtraction, making sure you're going from left to right. So we've practiced working on exponents to solve expressions. So after the video, you have some problems to practice on your own. If you need to, make sure you go back over the problems we worked together to use them as your example or to guide you through your problems. This has been fun, y'all. I enjoyed doing some math with you today. Thank you for inviting me into your home. I look forward to seeing you again on our next lesson in the Tennessee at Home Learning Experience series. Bye.
You don't have to be a great reader to create a love of reading in your child. Just having books in the home can help. Let your baby hold them. Read with energy. Try using different voices for characters. Use the pictures to spark conversation. Engaging with books every day at an early age creates a love of learning and builds strong thinkers. Enroll your child at governorsfoundation.org to receive an Imagination Library book each month at no cost.
Hello, I'm Maria Lee, First Lady of Tennessee, and I'm so glad you're here. This has been an unprecedented time for our state and our country. I'm so proud to see how Tennesseans are coming together to serve and lift each other up in the midst of challenges. Each of us has a role to play, including you, our students. Right now, your school buildings may be closed, but there are many opportunities to keep learning. And we are so grateful for the partnership of PBS in bringing this program directly to you as one more way to keep us learning and growing together during this time. I want to also give a special thank you to all of the teachers who helped make this possible. We could not do it without them. Most of all, thank you for joining us.